Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Voices of 2020. My name is Kurt Nicholsberg and I am the producer of Sun Prairie High School's theater program. I've had the pleasure of knowing these students for over 3 years, and it is a joy and a pleasure to get to know them and work with them every day. They are both at once strong and powerful, and at the same time very much high school students, with all of the frailty and insecurity that comes with that. Like many of us, we were struck with the inability to do things because of the global pandemic. And so we as a production company decided, what are we going to do to bring our students in? How are we going to keep them safe and yet give them a platform on which to perform? Out of that sprung the idea that we would be able to do monologues. And then came the idea, let's let the students write the monologues about their experiences. Let's give them a voice of what they're going through. We tripped them up a little bit and made them each do somebody else's monologue instead of their own. But within that, we found that they really expressed some of these deep-seated emotions. In this episode, as in with all the episodes, some of the things that they're going to say you might not agree with. We recognize that in this age, in this time, that there is a lot of disagreement. That's okay. It's okay if you don't agree with everything that they're going to say. We are blessed to have Sun Prairie School District and let our students express themselves in their art. And that support means everything to us. We hope that you understand that even if you disagree with what you hear, at least hear what they're saying. It's okay not to agree. After all, these are the voices of the children of Sun Prairie. These are the voices of our students. These are the voices of 2020.
More than 130,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and more than 2,000 deaths.
Significant upticks in people reporting significant levels of anxiety and depression. We're living in a world where the goalposts are moved every single day.
The U.S. sets a record for new COVID-19 infections for a third straight day. Friday saw more than 126,000 new cases reported. At least one person has been shot dead and a number of others injured during a third night of protests in the U.S. city of Kenosha.
We don't have to survive! We need to live! We need to live! My brothers need to live! My sisters need to live! My mother needs to live! I want to breathe! I want to breathe!
The gunfire started in the early hours of Wednesday after hundreds of protesters defied a dawn-to-dusk curfew and clashed with police, then responded with tear gas and rubber bullets.
He asked my biggest fear. I said judgment, abandonment, but deep down I knew I was wrong. So I said climate change, and he laughed, but I knew I was right. I hold two fears close to my heart: the fear of others being in pain like me, and of running out of time to help them. Climate change guts them both. I've spent a life planning. I'm going to be a doctor, studying hard for pre-med courses, scheduling as many AP Sciences as possible, dedicating hours to the Girl Scout cause. I will have a few children, hopefully adopt some more, and 2 words have the power to take all that away. Throw it out the window and me into a reality where plants don't grow. Climate change. And yes, I fear judgment, abandonment, But those things happen to me. I can take it. I'm strong. I know what I can take. I can take my friends abandoning me. I can take the entire school laughing when I fall during my performance. But watching our children grow up in a world where plants don't grow and bees don't fly, I cannot take that. You cannot ask me to take that. Looking at their faces, which should be filled with innocence and trust in the world. My stomach flowing over with regret, yet not knowing my mistake. I have trained how to handle pain, how to wash it away with the pen on the page, pain that goes to me. I don't know how to handle pain that goes to them. So please, don't make me learn.
I see her eyes tighten and her cheeks rise gently as a smile forms across her face. She's beautiful. Her laughter encompasses us, and I am filled with the warmth of her joy. The joy in her eye flickers for just a second as she struggles just a bit more for her air. Another constant reminder of how fleeting these moments I have with her are. Her hospital room is so bare and cold. I make a mental note to bring flowers next time, but not cut flowers that are just gonna die. I'll bring potted flowers that have so much more life to live. Oh God, let her live. Please, I need her, I love her. I come back the next day and the day after that, always with something to brighten her day. I bring flowers and Candyland, balloons and the office, her favorite blanket, and cards from her friends and family. I walk into her room and she wipes the tears from her eyes. I run to her side and I ask her what's wrong. She says the doctors say she isn't getting any better. It's getting worse. Fast. My stomach tightens and we spend the rest of that day silent in each other's arms. The next day I come, I bring a ring. No more waiting. I love her more than anything and am prepared to share my life with her. I run into the room, immediately get on one knee and say, my love, I'm done wasting time. Will you marry me? At first she's so shocked and I see her start to say yes, but then she stops. She turns away from me as she starts to cry. I gently put my hand on hers and ask her why she's crying. She says she loves me too, but because she loves me, she can't say yes. She says I deserve the chance to be with someone who can live out their days with me. I look her in the eyes and tell her how the few moments I'd get to spend with her would be worth 1,000 lifetimes with anyone else. I tell her how she's been the best thing that's ever happened to me, and no matter what happens, I promise I'll be by her side as long as she's by mine. I pull out the ring again, and she hesitates. And then she reaches out her hand, and I slip the ring on her finger. And for 9 more days, we really lived happily ever after, until she breathes her last breath in my arms.
When people are dying, there's never an opinion that justifies that death. When people are crying out for help and change, there's never an opinion that justifies ignoring them. When a teenager who cannot legally carry a weapon kills 2 protesters with said weapon, he is not a defender of peace and democracy. Politics have created a void. People simply do not attempt to escape their own bubble. However, the leader of a party has led to a cultist movement that ignores human decency and basic logic. There is no justice in suppression. There is no peace in suppression. People are fed up to their breaking point, and that point is dangerous. Riots are spreading because people simply are not heard. They used to simply not be heard by politicians. However, now even their fellow human has turned a blind eye to them. Whenever a mother posts something about how she's defending the hope of her children by voting for Trump, while simultaneously stymieing that hope for thousands of black children, whenever an uncle defends a shooting and calls the shooter patriotic, whenever a grandparent votes for someone who ruined an entire side of political discourse and thought, whenever a friend stands up for rampant abuse of violent privileges by an institution designed to protect, we are betrayed. We want to be human. We want to be seen as more than just another worker in a workforce or another dead body on the street. We want to feel safe. We don't want the same tool used to kill us to be heralded at us as a means of defense. We want science to be respected. We want to be vaccinated. We want to help save our earth from this toxic stuff that we have pumped into it. Hate isn't an opinion. Ignorance isn't an opinion. Conspiracies aren't opinions. Deliberately misleading the American people and dividing them based around their beliefs and opinions is ridiculous. Everyone deserves whatever opinions they want, but still, some opinions are not opinions.
It's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. Gosh, I wish it would. How many times have I closed my eyes, hoping maybe, just maybe, it could be real? A real embrace. Heck, I'd take a handshake, a nice high five, anything. Please. It's so cold, it hurts. Call me needy, call me whiny, call me whatever. I just want to hold someone. I just want to know I'm not alone. Sure, I can walk with people, be outside, but outside is cold. Outside is silent, empty, barren. I just wish I could be inside someone's arms. I miss people. If I had known March 12th was the last day for me to be at school with people, in person, I would have taken it all back. Maybe I could have paid attention in class that day. Maybe I could have had proper goodbyes. Maybe I could have hugged my friends and memorized that feeling. Maybe... No, there's no use in brooding over it. I've done that too much. I've cried enough. When this is all over, it'll be better. I'll go to school. I'll walk up to that lunch line, take that crappy chicken sandwich, smile at the lunch person, and say, thanks, and punch in my ID number. I'll sit in that obnoxiously loud, questionably sanitary cafeteria and eat that terrible hockey puck of processed meat like it was the best meal of my life. I'll hug my friends and say, hey, I missed you. We'll talk, we'll laugh, and we'll be okay. When this is all over, Will it be over? How long will that take? How much more can I take? I just need a hug.
You will not believe what I've had to endure during quarantine. Early on, it actually wasn't that bad. My parents were both working from home, but they mostly just did their own thing. And my sister actually started taking up some productive hobbies. You know, cooking, researching colleges, and she even started to clean her pigsty of her room. It was actually kind of peaceful. Then all hell broke loose. My family quickly realized that my sister cannot cook at all. This was after she'd made soupy chicken pot pie, salty pancakes, and raw chicken tenders that made my whole family sick. She even managed to mess up Jell-O. How do you mess up Jell-O? There's literally 2 steps. Now that my family's banned my sister from the kitchen, her new goal in life is to memorize every single show on Netflix. No, not just the title, but the cast, plot, and even the release date? But that's just my crazy obsessive sister for you. The sad thing is, the rest of my family isn't doing much better. Within the past 3 months, my family has tried every diet I've ever heard of. After we tried every diet my mom could find, she just started making up her own. One of which was eating different color foods each week. Then there's my dad. He decided that everything in my house should be fixed or renovated, starting with my room. He took ideas from different home renovating shows and tried to recreate them with what we already had. Like, he tried to make my bed frame out of a foosball table. And the wall decor! My gosh, the things this man considers to be art. There's a wall in my living room that has beer cans and old milk jugs super glued to it. He calls it the Great Corona Collage. I'm going mad with all of the craziness going on in my house. I swear, if my dad glues one more beer can to the wall, I'm gonna lose it. But that's enough about me. How have you been?
More than 130,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and more than 2,000 deaths. Significant upticks in people reporting significant levels of anxiety and depression. We're living in a world where the goalposts are moved every single day. The U.S. sets a record for new COVID-19 infections for a 3rd straight day. Friday saw more than 126,000 new cases reported. At least 1 person has been shot dead and a number of others injured during a 3rd night of protests in the U.S. city of Kenosha.
We don't have to survive! We need to live! We need to live! My brothers need to live! My sisters need to live! My mother needs to live! I want to breathe! I want to breathe!
The gunfire started in the early hours of Wednesday after hundreds of protesters defied a dawn-to-dusk curfew and clashed with